Hey guys, we have a big emphasis on mental energy going on today, a big emphasis on the planet Mercury in the sky. We have the moon coming into the sign of Virgo today, ruled by Mercury, going to be forming a square to Mercury in Mercury's other sign of rulership, Gemini. So this puts a huge emphasis on the planet Mercury by the moon's placement, making aspect to Mercury itself in another mercurial sign, while Mercury is also about to station to go retrograde. So lots of this mental energy being prominent today in our chart, giving us a lot to talk about as we are in a very big astrology week. Actually, we have a lot going on this week. Jupiter is moving to Aries, Mercury is going retrograde, Sun and North Node coming together, leading up, building into this full moon in Scorpio that is also a lunar eclipse. So the emphasis is on information, thoughts, mind, communication today as we are entering this week that is leading to all of these big activations we have going on. So you guys, let's jump into the report and see how all of this is playing out for us today. Welcome back to my channel, everybody. Today is Tuesday, May 10th, 2022. My name is Aubrey, and this is your astrological outlook of the day. Again, very big emphasis on information today. We have so much Mercury stuff going on, and it's not only this huge emphasis that we have going on with the planet Mercury by sign, by aspect, by about to be going retrograde, but the symbolism that's coming through today as well in terms of the Sabian symbols is also pointing to these same themes. So very much so a day that is sort of putting an underline under the information, mental energy sphere of life that we have going on. All about information today. Now, again, this is because, you guys, today we have our moon in Virgo. Virgo is ruled by Mercury. Mercury is the messenger planet ruling our thoughts, our mind, communication, ideas, understandings, perceptions, choices, decisions, things going back and forth, like dialogue, conversations, what we're learning, what we're teaching, what we're thinking, what's going on in our mind generally. All of these Mercury-related themes. And Mercury as a planet, as our lovely messenger planet, the fastest moving planet outside of the moon. See, the moon is the very fastest moving planet. The moon moves several degrees per day. And Mercury is next behind that. Mercury also moves very quickly, but, Mercury moves 1 to 2 degrees per day, depending on how quickly Mercury is moving through the sky. Actually, right now, Mercury is moving really slow because Mercury is stationed to go retrograde on Wednesday. I believe Wednesday is the 12th. Yes, Mercury goes retrograde on the 12th. But anyways, Mercury does rule both Gemini and Virgo. And we're talking about the moon in Virgo today. We're talking about Mercury in Gemini in his sign of rulership, slowing down, stationed to go retrograde, just maintaining the current position in the sky right now, but being in the sign of Gemini. So there's a major emphasis through the moon in Virgo, Mercury itself in Gemini, stationing to go retrograde, and also by aspect. This moon in Virgo is going to be forming a square to Mercury in Gemini. So we have sign placement, we have planets exactly, we have aspects, all around these Mercury Gemini themes that we have going on. And again, these two planets, the moon and Mercury, the fastest moving planets, things could be very busy today, although Mercury is slowing down, not at full speed by any means, bringing things down a little bit, but still this could be a very busy information day that we have going on. And the moon in Virgo, you guys, coming into a square. This is our emotions. This is our feelings. This is our internal environment in the sign of Virgo coming to a square with Mercury and Gemini. This could really have us feeling a bit emotionally and mentally unsettled today. We may feel like there's an aspect of confusion and we are not seeing things clearly or not understanding things exactly clearly, or things aren't making sense or adding up in one way or another. This energy could also be having us feeling a bit perhaps criticized or judged in terms of our understandings at this point in time, or in terms of our feelings at this point in time, or what we're saying, what we're talking about, the conclusions that we're coming to. We may feel as though there is something just being a little bit overly critical or overly judgmental of our ideas, as I said, our thoughts, what we're saying, and just generally our understanding and our perception of things at this point in time. But this energy, it could also have us perhaps seeing things from a new perspective, seeing the past in a new light could be coming through with this, like sort of seeing behind the curtain of things as well, things being exposed or being opened up to us in one way or another in the energy today and heading into this week, where again, we do have a lot of big activations going on this week. We also may feel in this energy like we're just no longer interested in sort of like what we used to be interested in, or what we used to do, or what we used to be, or what we used to think about. These type of themes could be coming up as well. And again, this mental and emotional conflict, we're talking about the moon, our emotions in the sign of Virgo coming into a square with Mercury, the mind, in the sign of Gemini. So this could also be some perhaps like harsher or more critical judgments on our part in terms of what is happening or unfolding or what we are learning now as well, what is presenting to us now, essentially. Gaining insight into something in one way or another, this could also be represented. Remember, we're talking about a square. Squares bring up conflict and tension, and the purpose of that, though, the conflict that arises through squares, is to actually help us to overcome and to transcend something and to create a solution, to evolve out of this conflict into a greater level of resolution, essentially. Conflict or squares provide opportunities for transcendence through conflict, through presenting the conflict, and then, we have to figure out how to deal with it, how to resolve it, how to take things up to the next level. And that's what we sort of have going on between our emotions, the moon in Virgo today, and the mind, Mercury in Gemini, forming this square. But with the moon in Virgo forming the square to Mercury in Gemini, with Mercury also stationing, about to go retrograde, this is definitely just putting a huge highlight today on, again, all of these Mercury related themes, information, conversations, communications, what we're thinking, what we're talking about, what we're learning in this energy, the choices, the decisions that we are making and that we are coming to. These are the type of things that could definitely be sort of taking the center stage today in terms of what is unfolding and what is going on. Now, another aspect of this energy today is the moon in Virgo. This is an earth sign. Will also be forming a trine a bit later in the day to Uranus in the sign of Taurus. This is the Great Awakening planet. So there may also be an aspect of some type of an awakening that is coming through today in the midst of sort of us being in this position where maybe things, they just aren't adding up or aren't making sense, or we feel like maybe we're not seeing the whole picture, or stuff is not being presented to us exactly clearly. It's like with the square from Mercury and the moon in both of Mercury's signs, I'm really feeling it's like whatever information may be coming through, or whatever our current understanding of things is, like it just may not be sitting well with us. Like it could be creating this like unsettled feeling in terms of just feeling like we're not seeing the whole picture, like we're missing something, or we're being deceived perhaps in some type of a way that could really cause us to be sort of looking under the surface of things, or trying to seek out some additional information, or trying to gain some type of clarity in some type of a way. And this could also be through more intuitive, like a more intuitive faculty as well, with the moon being in Virgo and opposing the sign of Pisces. This perhaps will be more in play tomorrow, but we do also have Mars and Neptune and also Jupiter still in the end of Pisces, representing this spiritual awakening, this realignment with like the spiritual truths that Jupiter Neptune conjunction that we've been dealing with over the course of the past month was really representing. So there could also be an aspect of like our intuition today that is sort of like tugging on us and making us feel like, maybe things are not exactly as they're being presented right now, or maybe, something just feels a little bit off about this, is kind of the vibe generally that I'm getting through the positioning and the aspects of the planets that we have going on today. And then, like I said, we have another dimension, another layer of interpretation to bring into this chart, because we need to look at the Sabian symbols alongside of these aspects that are playing out. And they are also emphasizing a lot of the same themes. First of all, we are talking about Mercury, right? All of this Mercury energy going on today. And Mercury currently is stationed to go retrograde at 5 degrees of Gemini, you guys. That Sabian symbol symbol is a radical magazine or publication calling for action, displays a sensational front page. And this Sabian symbol, like in and of itself, is extremely Mercury Uranus energy. A radical magazine or publication, the radical nature of it, that would be Uranus. The magazine or publication, that would be Mercury, calling for action, something that is like inspiring us or motivating us to really take some action and some type of way, displaying a sensational front page. It's like whatever this information is, whatever we're learning, whatever is coming across our desk, whatever headlines we're seeing, whatever like news, conversations, information that is coming through to us right now may have a bit of like a more radical nature to it that is sort of lighting a fire under us in one way or another because of what it is presenting on its surface. Displays a radical front page or displays a radical magazine or publication calling for action, displays a sensational front page. So there could definitely be like this day is really highlighting the information, the learning, the communication, the conversation, the things going back and forth, like what we are awakening to or opening our eyes to in terms of the mental aspect of things right now. And with Mercury at this degree and Uranus also being in effect today, there could just definitely be some really sensational or radical or just like big information that kind of like blows our mind maybe in one way or another that is on the table. I don't know. We also have Mars today. Since I just said on the table, I wasn't even going to read the symbol of Mars, but I just said what I said. So the Sabian symbol of Mars today actually is a table set for an evening meal. And so there may just be some things being presented to us today that open our eyes to something or again lead to that sense of things just not sitting right for us and like we need more information or something, or maybe what we're finding out, you know, is just a little like over the top maybe in one way or another that again causes us to feel like, you know, is this really what's going on? Like, am I understanding things correctly? Which goes right along with the fact that Mercury is also stationed to go retrograde right now, which is going to be bringing us through that period of reevaluating our understandings about things, like as always happens when we have Mercury going retrograde. So that is, I find, to be quite interesting in the context of the fact that we do have all of this Mercury energy going on today, and Mercury itself is also talking about this influx of energy, this this presentation of information that may be causing us to want to take some type of action in some type of way. And that's also interesting, as I said, because remember, we do have Jupiter moving into Aries this week, and Jupiter in Aries, this really is going to be lighting a fire under us to first and foremost fight for our truth, but it also inspires some real courage and motivation and willpower and independence and assertiveness, like us really wanting to take the reins and start riding in a new direction in alignment with our personal truth. Jupiter in the sign of Aries. And we're going to have a lot of that to talk about coming in tomorrow, because actually over the next 24 hours, Jupiter is going to be entering the sign of Aries. So that'll be the name of the game, the theme of the day that we have to talk about in my video for tomorrow. But, you know, for today, with this specific aspect of the Mercury placement, we could be finding out some radical information that is changing, shifting things for us in some type of way and causing us to really sort of want to take action in one way or another. Now, that is not the only degree that we have going on that is really sort of emphasizing the aspects that we have today. We also have the position of Uranus, you guys, who is being activated today by the moon as well, the trine from the moon in Virgo to Uranus in Taurus. And the Sabian symbol where Uranus is currently is an old teacher, fails to interest his students in traditional knowledge. So this, again, is a very mercurial theme, all about teaching and knowledge and learning and, you know, information, all of these things that Mercury does for us, and the way that, you know, this vibration generally affects us and what it resonates to and represents. And the thing about this symbol is, though, an old teacher fails to interest his students in traditional knowledge. This is a desire for like the new information. This is no longer being in alignment with the thought paradigms of the past, essentially, and like the past lesson plans and the past ideas and the past ways and means and mechanisms of learning and understanding and conceiving of the information in our reality. And just in the context of where we are at right now, you guys, in our shift of ages and our shift of paradigms from the age of Pisces to the age of Aquarius, we also have Neptune right now at the Sabian symbol 25 Pisces, the purging of the priesthood. We also have Pluto right now in the very, very last degrees of Capricorn, breaking down the old established power and control dynamics and authorities that have been sort of controlling the trajectory and the outcomes of things generally as we've been moving out of this age of Pisces and into the age of Aquarius. I feel like Uranus at this specific degree, again, emphasizing this information, this teaching, this learning, this just very mercurial energy that we have in abundance today, is talking about a lack of interest in really the past at this point and being much more geared to understanding and learning about the things that can help us in our trajectory going forward. So another degree, very much so talking about this information highlight theme that we have going on today. And then I want to talk also about the degree of Venus, because Venus is ruling this Taurus cycle that we are in. And because we are in a Taurus cycle right now, of course, we need to reference what's going on with Venus, because Venus rules Taurus. So Venus is really ruling all of this energy right now. And Venus as well is at 10 degrees of Aries today. That Sabian symbol, you guys, a teacher gives new symbolic forms to traditional images. So on one hand, we have Uranus, an old teacher, fails to interest his students in traditional knowledge. And then we have Venus, 10 Aries. A teacher gives new symbolic forms to traditional images. So there's the traditional word in both of these symbols. But I feel like Venus at this placement with Uranus at that place. Remember, you guys, Uranus is the galactic fixer. Uranus puts things right. Uranus is the great rectifier. And so I feel like this is saying, we just collectively at this point in time are no longer interested in the dogmas of the past. And we are at a point in time where we are opening to universe as our teacher to help us understand, the laws of reality and the understandings and the teachings of the past, but in a new way that fits where we're at right now in our energetic shift and transition of ages into the age of Aquarius, gives new symbolic forms to traditional images. This is like an upgrade in the way that we are desiring to understand the current state of our reality, essentially, and everything that goes along with that, like the spiritual truths, the physical truths, like every aspect and dimension of our experience. It's like we are ready to stop looking at it through the lens of, again, these dogmatic viewpoints and belief systems of the past that stem from this power and control hierarchy that is in the process of really breaking down. And we are ready to align with the teacher that is going to give us a new version of the truths as they are presenting now and as they are able to benefit us moving forward in this new direction into the age of Aquarius. And this is also obviously a teacher, like such a Mercury degree, again, in the position of Venus. And again, she's ruling this Taurus cycle. So I do feel like this is telling us that this Taurus cycle particularly, just by the placements of things today and all this emphasis on information and this week that we are in right now, as we head towards and build intensity towards this very powerful full moon that is coming up on the 15th. You guys, that's another thing. There may be like a pressure building all week. Like we may really feel like some high energy, high emotional energy, as well as this is going to be a full moon coming in Scorpio. And there may just be a sort of like intensity and like feeling like something's coming, sort of. This is also an eclipse. We're in some very highly fated, destined energy right now as well. And the hand of God, divine timing, is really guiding and dictating a lot of our experiences right now. And so there may be also a sense of just this increasing intensity or like pressure building, or just like feeling like something's about to happen that is coming up sort of under the surface of things today and this week as well. But again, like back to these three Sabian symbols, like they are so clear. Like the Radical magazine cover displaying the sensational information, calling for action, and the old teacher who fails to introduce students in traditional knowledge, while we have a new teacher giving new symbolic forms to those traditional images, the placement of Venus ruling this cycle. So what's going on this cycle is really helping us to adjust our viewpoint to the way that we need to be, like to create a new mindset and an attitude and perspective that can really carry us forward in a way that is conducive to our growth and our success going forward, as we are in this North Node and Taurus lesson plan right now, all about rediscovering the truth of the value that we hold inside of us and the resources and the potential that equates to in terms of us really being able to create something stable and build something that can provide some type of abundance or pleasure or support materially in our lives going forward at this period of time. North Node and Taurus, that's the lesson plan for all of us collectively right now, as we have this axis highlighted by the North and the South Node and Moon. This is also like a karmic detox, and I'll talk more about that with the full moon coming up as well. But anyways, back to the chart today. We have some more though, you guys. We have the sun today at 20 degrees of Taurus. That Sabian symbol is wisps of wing-like clouds streaming across the sky. This is another very mercurial Uranian degree to me. Wisps of wing-like clouds. This is like streaming across the sky. This is air energy, you guys. Like obviously this is air energy. Air resonates to the mind, the thoughts, ruled by Mercury again, and streaming. This is Uranus energy, streaming, things streaming quickly through the air. Like this is very much electrified Uranus energy in combination with the Mercury energy that we have going on. So the position of the sun, I feel like, again, is talking about this perhaps radical information that may be streaming through the airwaves today and sort of hitting us out of nowhere, perhaps. And last but not least, the last Sabian I wanted to read today, 20 degrees of Scorpio, you guys, the position of the earth. What's going on the ground today? A woman drawing aside two dark curtains that closed the entrance to a sacred pathway. So this again, in the context of all of this information energy, all of this Mercury highlight that we have going on today, and also this full moon that we're building towards, and this Sun North Node conjunction, I feel like this is talking about us being given sort of an opportunity to look behind the curtain, things being exposed, things being opened up to us that give us a different viewpoint into perhaps what was going on. It's like maybe we are feeling a bit like, again, like these vibes, like, I don't know, like this isn't sitting right with me. Like, I just don't feel like I'm getting the whole story. I don't feel like I'm, like I'm getting the whole truth here in one way or another. But with this position of the earth today, it really is like, we may be seeking to discover some more. And with Mercury stationing right now as well, ready to go retrograde, that is our period of reevaluation, reconfiguration, rediscovery, going back and sort of retracing our steps in terms of the things that we thought we understood. And with this square going on today between the moon in Virgo and the mind, Mercury in the sign of Gemini, there could just be this like emotional, mental imbalance going on today. And, this also could translate into sort of like just feeling like, some conversations that we're having today or some things that we're learning today, again, just like not sitting well with us, like sort of upsetting our emotions in some type of way. This could also be bringing up like cognitive dissonance and projection and stuff like that, like feeling like we cannot wrap our head around what is being presented to us and causing some emotional upsets, emotional disturbances. Some conversations, like some people could be saying some things or doing some things today that could be upsetting us emotionally in one way or another. But again, with this position of the earth that we have going on today, us moving into Mercury retrograde season, this full moon eclipse coming up in the sign of Scorpio, you guys, seeing into the depths of things, Jupiter moving into Aries, ready to fight for that personal truth, and also the Sun North Node conjunction. This is a very fated divine alignment. Like, we may be the Radical magazine cover calling for action. We may be seeking what's behind the curtain today in one way or another, and really like gaining some insight into some things that change our perspective in one way or another. And again, we have Uranus in trine as well. What we are learning now is changing and realigning things for us in one type of way or another, and perhaps really waking us up to some things that maybe we're operating behind that curtain that we are gaining an awareness of right now. And again, you guys, with Jupiter moving into Aries tomorrow, I mean, essentially like later through the day and into tomorrow, things may be motivating us to take some type of big action this week, in regards especially to, having the courage to fight for our personal truth in one way or another. However, I'm going to sort of like add a bit of caution here, because we do have Mercury stationed, about to go retrograde. Even though we have Jupiter moving into Aries, we also have Venus in Aries right now, which has a tendency of really causing us to like want to pursue and go after the things that we desire. I feel like this is the type of energy where we need to take that action and that courage and that motivation and sort of focus it more towards reevaluating things, gaining a better understanding of the bigger picture. These Jupiter things, like making sure that we are seeing things clearly from that elevated perspective, from that bird's eye view, and not just jumping in and making some type of big choice or big decision or taking some type of big action at this point in time, because Mercury is stationed and about to go retrograde, which means that we actually don't have all the information, and there are some things that we're going to be reevaluating, rediscovering, and like finding out that may change things for us in some type of way. Mercury also rules choices, decisions, and planning. And so, in this energy, we may be feeling really like spurred to take that action based on this radical information that we are gaining. However, if we do, go ahead and take some type of major action right now, it's not necessarily that it's going to like not turn out well, but there will probably be some adjustments that need to be made in the future. Like it probably won't pan out perhaps the way you might have anticipated, just because Mercury is currently like about to be going retrograde in conjunction with this Jupiter moving into Aries. So I feel like, using this like inspired action energy to really like dig for those truths and uncover this information and do this reevaluation and gain, the insight that we may have been lacking to give us this fuller sense of clarity, so that when Mercury goes direct in a couple of weeks, we can really begin to move forward in this direction with like plans and decisions and, choices that are in alignment with that personal truth, like for coming from that place of that higher perspective, that bird's eye view, that place of like wisdom, you know what I mean, with Jupiter moving into Aries right now. We want to be sure that we are not taking some type of big action in the midst of a sense of confusion, essentially, is what I'm trying to say. We want to sort of make sure that we are understanding things clearly, that we are communicating clearly, that there's no misunderstandings or miscommunications or, lacking this type of information or not seeing this, in this type of way while we are making choices and decisions, plans ruled by Mercury. So that's really what I want to say about that, you guys. This energy, very, very good for motivating us to really get to the bottom of things, like find the truth in things and like have the courage, the motivation, and the willpower to do it, but not necessarily executing on those plans, on those decisions, on those choices at this point in time. If we give it another couple of weeks to really make sure that we have all the pieces of the information and that they're in like a streamlined, coherent manner, not like a retrograde sort of like jumbled mess, it will probably benefit us most moving forward in this energy. So that's basically, you guys, what I have to say today in terms of our lovely astrology report and everything that we have going on. Let's talk about the tarot for a minute, you guys. Tarot time. I got some cards coming out of the deck this morning, shuffling the deck, asking God, Spirit, Universe, please give me some symbolism to clarify where we're at collectively right now, what is going on with us in our energetic navigation through these astrological energies that are unplaying this week, which again are pretty significant. So we got 3 cards coming out of the deck this morning that we are going to analyze, plus what we had going on the back of the deck. The first card was the Ten of Pentacles, you guys. Yes, this is where we're going, okay? And we need to remember this. And we need to keep our eye on the prize and not let anything shake our resolve in the value that we know, that we hold inside, and that we know we deserve to experience externally as well. The next card that we had coming out, you guys, was the Queen of Wands, okay? This is about being in our personal power based in this, like, an understanding of like our authentic creative potential and the power that that represents to help us create and manifest this true authentic soul fulfillment. This is like really, these two cards are really talking about being in a place of like genuine self-empowerment to the point that we can actually manifest it outwardly and attract opportunities, relationships, connections to ourselves that can align us with what will truly bring us our soul's sense of fulfillment. And that's a lot what we've been talking about in the context of this 222 year that we have going on. Now, the next card that came out of the deck was the Seven of Pentacles in reverse. And then we had the Fool in reverse on the back of the deck. And so when we put all of these cards together, you guys, I feel like this is actually universe saying to us, because, okay, this is the Seven of Pentacles. This is the card of like the harvest, essentially, like seeing what we've grown, reaping what we've sown, sort of like giving a check to like a progress check, sort of. And it can be a little bit like of more of a melancholy card, like maybe not being so like pleased or happy with our progress or what we have going on right now. But with it being in reverse, and then with the Fool in reverse also having come out on the back of the deck, I feel like this is God and universe telling us that like we should not let our current perception of our progress and where we're at right now and any disappointments that may be associated with it impact our ability to start something new, to move something forward, and to really get in alignment with that internal creative power that can lead us, this heart-based energy. This is that fire energy, Venus and Aries, you guys, pursuing our desires of, you know, manifesting true abundance and fulfillment physically, emotionally, you know, materially, all that type of stuff. I feel like this is saying to not let where we are seemingly at now hold us back, and not to let any perceived past failures stop us from opening ourselves and aligning with the energy that can open us to this like profound abundance and fulfillment at this period of time. Like, I almost feel like this is saying not to let any perceived like lack of growth that we may be acknowledging right now hold us back from having the faith that we are really truly on this new path, on this new journey. Taking an inventory as well and reconsidering things before we take action is something that could be represented through these cards as well. It's like, this is what's coming, you guys. Like, this is, we have the Fool in reverse, you know, but this is like where this new journey that we are going on is leading us in this 222 year, as we are going through all of these shifts with the North Node and Taurus right now, Venus and Aries, really trying to align us with the authentic value and creative potential and power that we hold within us, and the ability for that to truly translate into material success and abundance. But it's like something about what we've been trying to grow or bring into fruition that we may not be seeing the outcome of at this point in time, that could be stifling our ability to take this new leap, to have the confidence or the faith in ourselves to start moving forward. And again, though, in the context of all of this Mercury energy, the Mercury retrograde energy that's coming up today, with all of the emphasis on Mercury that is simultaneously going on, I feel like this is also telling us to sort of, again, like, be sure that we are seeing things clearly, and that we have all the information, and that we are seeing the accurate outcome of our harvest before we take this action moving forward, before we take this new leap, before we set out on this new journey in this radical new direction, which is coming. I mean, this is with the Fool here. This is talking about some type of new journey that we are, you know, on the brink of setting out in, but it's held back. Like, there's a delay. And I feel like that has to do with us not properly seeing the state of what we've grown, of what we've harvested. And universe telling us in this message not to allow that to interfere with our perception of ourself, our self-value, our self-worth, our self-love, our self-empowerment that leads to, and what is truly coming to us and trying to make its way to us in this 222 year energy as we are transitioning into the age of Aquarius, which, you guys, is the age of self-knowledge, self-mastery, self-empowerment, self-enlightenment, and as a result of that, an ability to co-create with God and spirit and attract, manifest the things in our lives that can truly create our own version of heaven on earth, essentially, as we are, again, transitioning into this new paradigm, this age of Aquarius, which is leading to this return of a golden age for humanity on earth. So that's the message, you guys, that is coming through in regards of in terms of the tarot today. We may not be seeing the actual truth of what we've truly grown, what we've cultivated, what we've been working on at this point in time. And I feel like it's telling us to not allow that to interfere with the truth of our knowledge of us really actually being the Queen of Wands moving towards the Ten of Pentacles. So that's what we got for the tarot. Let us now grab a synchronicity card, you guys. This is going to be our last little bit of advice, guidance from God today. These cards are wonderful. They are little messages from God that just can provide some additional wisdom and advice as we travel. I got one that is like folded over and wants to come off, or wants to come out. So I'm going to use that card as we travel and navigate our lives and circumstances today. So this card, actually, I don't know that I've chosen this card before, or if I have, it hasn't been in a very long while. But it says, turn off the world. Interesting. Okay. Folly is joy to him destitute of wisdom. Proverbs 15:21. Looking for love in all the wrong places, looking for joy in externals, finding joy in lurid drama, hate-filled music, and other synthetic entertainment, you will find joy within yourself. Turn off the noise and listen to the voice within. Search for your wisdom within. Be happy within yourself and you will find joy. And now that I read it, I definitely have picked this card before. I don't know why I didn't recognize the headline of the title of the card, but yeah. And also, again, like, we have all of this emphasis on this Mercury information, or on this Mercury vibration today. And with the moon in Virgo, I was feeling like this, could be causing us to like have a stronger connection to sort of our intuition today, and use that as sort of more of a means and mechanism to guide what we are understanding, what we are seeing, what we have going on. And it says, turn off the noise and listen to the voice within. Again, this is also referencing to me some of this more busy communication, information, media, social media, Mercury related energy that may be coming in today. It may be a very busy, loud day, and the message and advice from God for us today to help us navigate this energy is to turn off the world and really, center down into our own connection with spirit, connection with God, and our intuition. And again, this may be where we have the greatest capacity to gain some actual clarity today with these square aspects going on, Mercury about to go retrograde, and also, again, this feeling that we may have that things are just like not sitting right with us, some like soul searching or really connecting to our intuition, or, interpreting signs, signals, synchronicities, like a spiritual connection, spiritual guidance, spiritual assistance being a powerful tool for us today in this energy, and maybe perhaps detaching a bit from the physical, mundane world as things are unfolding for us today. So you guys, that is what we have for our energy today. Message from the stars, message from the cards. Thank you guys so much for being here. I really hope I was able to provide something for you guys that can give you a little bit of whatever you need as you're navigating your experience today. Thank you guys again so much for watching, so much for being here. If you did like this video, guys, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, share it with your friends if you think that they would be interested. Leave me comments, you guys. I absolutely, I seriously love your comments. I love your feedback. I love hearing what's going on with you and how these aspects and energies are affecting you guys in your own lives. So grateful for each and every one of you. I have a Facebook page, a Facebook group, a website, and some other social media stuff. Those are in my description box below, and come back with me tomorrow, you guys. We got more big astrology to talk about, and I mean that very literally. We're going to be talking about Jupiter tomorrow, moving into the sign of Aries, first sign of the zodiac, biggest planet in the our planetary like system. So that's what we got going on. Big energy coming through tomorrow to talk about. I will be here. You should be here too. Have a beautiful day, everybody. If it gets a little overwhelming out there, remember, turn off the world. We are heading in the right direction, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye, guys.